All right, what is up, everybody? Happy Thursday. Welcome back to the NBA season. We got our second half of the year up and running. Per usual, I'm going to be breaking down the slate, going over games I like, going over stuff I don't like. And then at the end, we'll do our usual giveaway of $25 for a guess the player type of trivia. Let me do this real quick. If you guys don't mind me retweeting. All right. Okay, so we got yesterday a little tease the Lakers and Hornets game. Horrible loss for my Lakers. Luka's looking a little bit rocky right now, a little rusty actually. But things will start to shape up in the next few weeks, and hopefully Lakers can maintain their standing. But definitely a tough loss last night. But one thing I did notice was just overall rust from everyone. The Hornets went like 1 for 15 from three, I think, in that first half, maybe even first quarter, but first half. Um, a lot of open shots. We're just bricking, and I think that'll be the theme for tonight as well. We're gonna look at a lot of players coming off of vacations. Uh, you know, they either flew back last night or Wednesday, or even Tuesday, and then get one practice in, and boom, it's another game, right? So with that being said, second half NBA season, I usually go a little bit lighter in terms of betting, making sure that you know I'm not overexposing myself because a lot of players are going to be missing easy shots that they would have made maybe a week or two ago when things are really in rhythm. So just be careful with how much you bet, and just overall, uh, play cautiously for the next couple of days until players start to get back into the groove of things. Um, but yeah, we'll go over games, go over some injury reports. Everything should be pretty clean for the most part since players are going to be coming off, a week of rest. But we'll go over the injuries and go from there. If you guys have any questions as we go along, make sure to just type it in the chat, and I'll get to your questions as soon as I can. Do you think running a six-man with the 165 free bet is the move? In my opinion, that's what I'm doing. I'm doing a massive giveaway right now if you guys are interested. I'm giving away all the winnings from it. So I know it's paid out in promo funds. I will use my own money to pay it out. I'm giving away half of it to my Twitter followers. The rest of it is going to be in Discord. So, if you want two chances to win, make sure to join the Discord. We have a 50% off link right now. It's the only time I'll do an advertisement. We have a 50% off promo code. Use code SB50 at checkout. Works for any package. All right, enough with the advertisements. Enough with the chitter chatter. Let's get into the plays. First game, Memphis and Indiana. Should be a good one here. Both teams kind of play at a really chaotic pace, which is why the over-under is at 251. I believe this might be the highest over-under we've seen the entire year. Um, Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the highest of the slate. The, I haven't seen over 250 in quite a while, but yeah. On the Pacers side, everybody's healthy. First time in forever where they have zero people on the injury report. I kind of like Siakam in this matchup. Miles Turner's okay. We're going to have to pick a couple pieces from this one just because the total is so high. But I'm kind of leaning towards the Memphis side rather than the Pacers side. On the Memphis side, I'm kind of liking Jaw, kind of liking Bane. Jaren Jackson's like a third option for me here. Excuse me. But yeah, definitely like Jaw, definitely like Bane, and we'll look at some props for them in a bit. Moving on to the Boston and Philly game. Boston's favored by 7 here on the road. Everybody is healthy for them finally. Drew is on the injury report for All-Star break for a little bit. Um, but everybody's good to go. When everybody is healthy, kind of hard to gauge like who uh, can go off because they kind of take turns. I know a lot of people like Derek White tonight. He's not bad. But again, when everybody's healthy, the value for the Celtics are, you know, kind of wishy-washy. On the Philly side, Joel Embiid is back and playing. He shouldn't be on a minutes restriction anymore. So, should be a good 32 to 35 minutes, if not more. We can check him out real quick. I believe he played near 40. Yeah, he played near 40 in the game before break. Um, So I think he should be a full go. Orlando and Atlanta. Orlando has Jalen Suggs out. He's been out, for a good amount of time now. I don't know if they're gonna start Cole Anthony again. I know he picked up one start. Or started 5 games actually. My bad. But the minutes are pretty rocky. So main focus is here. I like Paulo. I like Franz. Those are my main two guys. Everyone outside of that is kind of just, pick and choose. On the Atlanta side, still dealing with a lot of injuries, but for the most part, their starting lineup has been consistent with Trey, Dyson, Rusache, Guye, and Okongwu. I think Capella is still. Let's see here. Capella should be back. But with the new additions for Atlanta, a lot of the bench is going to start to play over the guys like Guye. Rusache still was on a minutes limit before this All-Star break. He should be. Oh, we touched 30, so maybe he'll play plus 30 plus. But Niang and Levert have been getting a lot of extra burn lately, so love those guys off the bench. Cleveland and Brooklyn. This one should be a blowout. Cleveland favored by 13. Probably gonna be a slower game here. Ty Jerome GTD, Isaac Okoro GTD, Dean Wade is out. On the Brooklyn side, Cam Thomas still out, Noah Clowney still out, but this one might be a fade for me outside of possibly Jared Allen, possibly Evan Mobley. Allen is in a great bounce back spot. Played a little bit, inconsistent before the All-Star break, but he's going to be in a great spot to, to have a revenge game as well tonight. And then Brooklyn side, full fade for me. Chicago and New York should be a good one here. Chicago is playing pretty decent basketball outside of the 2 games versus the Pistons. Dealt with a couple of injuries, but now everybody's back and going. I do like Kobe White a little bit here. On the Knicks side, you have OG Anunoby, GTD. Precious Chua is projected to start at the 3, or technically he would be the 4. If OG does sit, let's see, he's questionable. If OG does sit, then look for guys like Miles McBride to pick up extra run off of the bench. But with Josh Hart out, what is he dealing with? Dealing with patellofemoral syndrome. So I guess he is going to be out for a bit. So yeah, Miles McBride likely to pick up some extra run. Look for Mikal Bridges and Karl Anthony Towns to pick up a lot of that rebounding and scoring that Josh Hart's been doing really, really well recently. The Clippers versus Milwaukee. I like this game a lot. Kawhi Leonard is questionable tonight. Oh, he's actually out. Wait, hold on. My bad. Why is he questionable? 1 second. I assume he's going to play. This might just be like an old GTD tag because they don't have any indication. So I expect the Clippers to be pretty much healthy. Bucks have been giving up a lot of assists to pick and roll, and they kind of trap off of that pick and roll. So I kind of like Harden. Norman Powell just got ruled GTD. Let me refresh this. He just got ruled GTD. So if he ends up sitting, where is it at? If he ends up sitting, then look for Harden to really pick up that scoring load. Yeah. On the Milwaukee side, a lot of GTDs here. I think Giannis is questionable with his calf. Dame, I don't even know what's wrong with him. Questionable with a hamstring injury. Kind of odd coming off an All-Star break with, these GTD tags. I think it's more likely that Giannis does play. Got a week off. Lillard, I think he should play as well. In my opinion, with Portis out, definitely look for Brook Lopez to pick up extra run. If Giannis plays, I love rebounds from Giannis. With Portis out, who he shares the floor with, here and there, I definitely love Giannis's rebounds. I believe he went over like 14 rebounds in the games that Portis has been out this season. So look for that. Charlotte versus Denver. Crazy win from Charlotte last night. I'm kind of skeptical here that they play LaMelo Ball on this back-to-back, traveling to altitude in Denver. LaMelo is coming off that ankle injury that he sustained twice before the All-Star break. So keep that in mind when you are playing Hornets props. Same thing with Mark Williams. Don't be surprised if LaMelo and Mark end up sitting tonight. I say that because, again, LaMelo dealing with the ankle injury. Mark coming off of no basketball for like almost 2 weeks. On top of that, he was already dealing with some injuries, and he didn't play too many back to backs, I believe. Um, so he sat out this back to back and sat out another back to back. So don't be surprised if he ends up sitting. Um, yeah. On the Denver side, Russell Westbrook is back. Their full starting lineup is expected to return. I don't like Christian Brown or Christian Braun. I know it's pronounced Brown, but it's spelled Braun. I don't like him as much with everybody healthy. Same thing with Porter Jr. He was on a crazy tear before the break, but I'm not too fond of him with everyone up and running. But Jokic always in a good spot, but just realize it's a 17-point spread here. If LaMelo and Mark sit, probably gets bumped up to 20-point spread, and this is easily going to be a blowout. On top of that, first game off of the All-Star break, don't expect players to get full run in that fourth quarter if it's a game that's pretty out of hand. Phoenix and San Antonio. San Antonio is going to be short-handed at the center position. They lost Zach Collins via trade. They lost Wemby today with a deep vein syndrome or something. Prayers up to Wemby. And Bassi is now out. So they're stuck with Mamushkavelli at center. Expect Sohan to play center as well. And on the Phoenix side, I think with, Spurs kind of being forced to play small. Let's see here. With Spurs forced to play small, I wouldn't be surprised if Phoenix kind of combat that with playing Royce O'Neal at center, KD at center. But they signed Bismack to a 10-day. I think, is he still signed to the 10-day? Oh, I don't think they renewed his contract. So it might just be one backup center for the San Antonio today. So yeah, expect Harrison Barnes, Jeremy Sohan. Spurs might be the best value on the slate, to be honest. But yeah, on Phoenix side, they're starting two bigs right now. I don't see them finishing with that this game. I expect a heavy dose of probably a small ball lineup with either one of KD at center or Royce O'Neal at center. So just be careful playing one of Bobo or Nick Richards tonight. Yeah. And then lastly, we had the Lakers and the Blazers. Blazers playing phenomenal basketball before the break. I think they won like 9 out of 10 games. Where did you say it's getting played at? Oh, they're playing in the Texas arena. Interesting. I believe that one fits a lot more people than the actual Spurs arena. But yeah, for the Lakers game, I do expect LeBron to play this back-to-back, purely for the reason because they lost yesterday. But don't be surprised if we get a late indication that LeBron or Luka will sit tonight. I wouldn't be surprised, but obviously right now nobody's on the injury report outside of Kleber. But if Luka sits, obviously LeBron gets the bump and vice versa. But I think Austin Reeves has a great bounce back game tonight. And I think Rui Hachimura points should be a wagon moving forward. Playing with two creators. Rui missed a lot of easy buckets last night. He should have had 25 plus points. He had literally 3 wide open threes at the top of the paint or top of the 3-point line, and he just missed them all. So he had 17, I believe, with 2 missed free throws in the last minute of the game. Easily could have been, a 25, even 30-point game with all the threes he missed yesterday. So I like his points tonight. But that's pretty much it for the injury report. We'll get into some props now and look at some stuff that I kind of like for tonight. Starting off, kind of like Desmond Bane. I talked about sticking to playing lower units, but I also think taking unders today might not be too bad of a move. And I think the unders you should take are going to be in the games that are slower. For example, Chicago, New York potentially could be a blowout. That's an angle you could take. It is a high total, though. Cleveland versus Brooklyn is another game you could potentially take unders in. Atlanta, Orlando, another game potentially you could take unders in. What else? Boston Philly, another game where could be a blowout for one, for two could be another, slower paced game. So look for the under angle tonight. Stay away from high total games such as the Pacers and Grizzlies game. 251, so they're anticipating the score being like 126, 125. Actually, it should be like 127, 125. Yeah, just be very cautious with the props you play today. KD, I'll take a look at KD. First off, take a look at Jarrett Allen. Everybody's on Jarrett Allen tonight. Let's take a look at points and rebounds. So far, he's over in the last 7 of 10. Not that it matters too much. Obviously, it's still relevant. Let's see here versus Brooklyn. Hold on. So versus Brooklyn this season, they've played 2 games. He went under both games. Blowout in one, and they narrowly won. I believe this is the game I played him as well. He barely played for some reason. Really, really odd game here. I totally remember this one. I think he was sick, but didn't play the fourth quarter. This one was a blowout. He ended up dropping 12 and 8 with 4 assists. So not too bad. I do think this is going to be a better situation for him here today. So I like the points and rebounds. Let's see. What else does he have up? PRA. You can run the PRA as well. He's been dishing the ball pretty well as of late. Versus Brooklyn. Let's see his potential boards. Only 10 rebounding chances. So ultimately, like numbers wise, he hasn't hit versus Brooklyn. Matchup wise, he should have a great matchup tonight versus Claxton, but I don't know, kind of odd. There's definitely pros and cons to this play tonight. What's this other play I like? I like the Spurs. I like a lot of the Spurs tonight. I like Chris Paul. I think his assists are fine. I know a lot of people like it. I think the sneaky play today has to be Vassell. Vassell, and whenever Sohan goes up. What's Vassell at? 24 PRA. I know he's kind of struggled before All-Star break, but with Wemby out, a lot of the scoring has to go somewhere. I think it's going to be Vassell. You can even go Harrison Barnes. He's been playing really good basketball. Excuse me. But again, before All-Star break, it's going to be a completely different ball game now. That consistency is hard after you haven't played for a week. So don't be surprised if a lot of players, miss easy jumpers tonight, make baskets they were making a week ago. You know what I mean? And then I guess like the third guy I would take a look at is Stephon Castle. Usage is going to be there. He's been playing really good basketball as well. Don't take a look at these. These are from the Rising Stars game. But he's been playing good basketball. And I didn't really expect that with De'Aaron Fox. What am I doing? With De'Aaron Fox coming into the picture. But Castle's been picking up a lot of usage. Being more aggressive. Scored 20 points versus Boston. Played only 24 minutes. So with Wemby out, everybody kind of has to slide up a little bit, right? So you look at Wemby playing 36 minutes, Fox playing 40. I think Fox, another great play tonight. But with, let's say, Sohan coming into the picture, playing center minutes, Harrison Barnes is going to have to play that 4 role, which Sohan, had to play previously with Wemby. And then from there, just everybody moves up one, right? So now look at three guard lineups with Paul, Castle, Vassell, and then switch out Fox, Vassell, Cassell, stuff like that. Everybody's going to get extra burn. So Spurs are my favorite angle of the night. Phoenix struggling on defense, just overall, I think they have a lot of stuff they need to work on, but defense is one of the main things that they've been struggling with this season. I love the Spurs side tonight. De'Aaron Fox PAs, one angle I like. Again, Chris Paul assists. Kind of waiting for Sohan. I think his line should have a lot of good value tonight. Okay, so that's out of the way. What else was I taking a look at? Harden. 1 second. Let's see. So Harden, I think honestly I like his assists a lot tonight. A 9 assists versus Milwaukee. We can take a look. Let's see here. Versus Milwaukee. This season they played once. He had 9. Let's see the potential assists if possible. 14 potentials that game as well. So that was with Kawhi. I like this this matchup for him. Again, the way Milwaukee play, they force a lot of assists to players like Harden that drive downhill, a lot of screen and rolls. Um, yeah, 14 potential. I think that's good volume here. Are you saying unban? Ignore my unbanned comment. I mean, I banned you for a reason, my man. Um, what else we got here? So we got Harden. Let's lock that one in. I like Fox assists too. I'm not gonna lie. Issue is like, how many of these assists went to Wemby? You know what I mean? You take away a lob threat. You take away a guy who can drain the, 35 footers. It's like we got to take a deeper dive into Fox. LeBron assists if he plays tonight. I can't, I can never be opposed to taking LeBron. Let's see here. 8 assists. How many potentials did he have yesterday? There's Portland, 23 potentials. They played once this season. Played 36 minutes, 38 points. That was an older game, so I'm not really going to count that. But I do like LeBron assists if he plays. Love Bane over 4.5 defensive boards. Been grabbing boards. Let's see here. Usually have a higher success rate post All-Star, or doesn't really matter. I definitely do. It just takes a little bit for the first week or so. Again, I play a lot lighter than I normally would. Again, if you were kind of late to the stream, I talk about that post All-Star break rust. Players coming off of vacations. I mean, Paul George was literally on vacation less than 3 days ago. He was taking a picture with his wife on the beach, right? And for him to go from there back to Philly, back to practice, back to shoot around in a 72-hour span, a lot of players are going to have a hard time adjusting to that. So just keep that in mind. Even yesterday, like I said, the final score for the Lakers game was 197, right? And a ton of open shots that were just being missed. So don't be surprised if you see a lot of players who've been super consistent before the All-Star break just come out and throw up a brick tonight. But yeah, Bane, don't mind it. Again, kind of like the points and rebounds, or even the field goals made. This is a game you definitely want to get a piece of, though. Do you do research on your plays personally, esports as well? Of course. I can't just get plays out of my butt, right? I spend a lot of time on researching. Probably too much for my own good, but I have to, do my due diligence. I'm not just gonna pick props blindly, especially when a lot of people are depending on me. So yeah, let's start off with that. I want to play Fox. I think I'll play Fox PA. Let's see. You said Bane. Pacers, huh? Let's see here. Wow. Bane's been rebounding the ball like crazy. Versus the Pacers, though? Have they played this season? They have. They played once. He had 6 boards in 30 minutes. Blowout victory as well. Damn. You'd be surprised how many cappers do. I mean, I just started using this site to save myself time in terms of researching data. But I don't sit here and be like, oh my god, what is the last 10? Look at all the green. I have to play this play. I don't sit here and do that. A lot of my plays take a lot more analysis than that, and I think that's what separates a good capper from a great one, is understanding why you're taking a play, why it should hit, and not just being like, oh, in the last game, guards against, I'm going to make up a random game, guards against the Nuggets scored 50 points, but Anthony Edwards scored 45 of them. but you're using that as an excuse as to why you're playing somebody, in this matchup, which is a completely different team. The player's not even on the team anymore, etc. Like yesterday, I'm not going to call him out, but Alex Caruso guy on Twitter posts that Jackson Hayes over 9 points. I personally like to play, but he posted for the wrong reason. He said the last time they played the Hornets, the centers combined for 50 points. But Anthony Davis had 42 of those 50 points. And he's not on the team anymore. So you can't use that as a write-up or like reasoning for it. You know what I mean? Like if you take a play, break it down as to why you like it, and if it makes sense and it misses, you can't be mad at the read. And I think that's where a lot of cappers, are hard on themselves, like myself. If you make a good read on paper, everything checks out, and the player just doesn't perform, there's nothing else you can do. But if you're making the wrong read, you're using irrelevant data like matchups from 2015 and stuff like that, then, that's obviously a reason why it's missing. Jamal Murray under 22.5 points tonight. I don't mind that. With everybody healthy, it should be a game that is out of hand pretty quickly. 22.5. I honestly don't mind that under. Westbrook is back as well. Take a look at Luke Kennard, first half PRA. He's cleared that 21 out of 25 times starting or coming off the bench. Only issue with Luke Kennard is that his minutes are kind of wishy-washy, especially now with, Vince Williams back and running. He's been back for a couple of games now, I believe. Yeah, taking like 15 plus minutes a game. On top of that, like, their rotation is just really deep. But I don't mind it. I think his line is pretty low today, right? What is it at? 10.5. Yeah. Oh, it's you're talking about first half PRA line. Okay. Let's see. I generally stay away from first half stuff now, but I'll take a look at it just for you. Not bad. I assume a lot of his minutes would come in the first half anyways, just because he doesn't close games most of the time. Pacers 250 total, fastest pace on slate. Should be a lot of rebound chances for Bane. Yeah, again, I don't mind that. I do want to go back to that though, because that might be a good shout. Let's see your D rebounds. Let's see potential boards. Had 10 rebounding chances. Pretty good. Do you have a play of the day money line or one to look into? Let me see, man. I was looking at Orlando -2. I think they come back from. Sorry, my dog's barking. I think they come back from the All-Star break pretty refreshed and rejuvenated. Let's see what else. I think the Lakers bounce back and win tonight's game. I think -3 is a good spot. However, that one, since we have the luxury to, we're not betting props. I would wait to the very last moment to bet on the Lakers tonight. Again, because of the whole LeBron thing, whole Luka thing, if they're going to play or not. But I'm going to play Bane. I think I'm going to go with his PR tonight at 25.5. So it's solid 4. Like Harden over 14.5 rebounds and assists. Yeah, I took the assist for the push potential, but definitely could play the RA. For sure, Thrax. Appreciate you tuning in, man. Much love. Okay, so we'll start there. Fill out 2 more props. Again, if you guys have questions or you guys want to provide input, feel free to just fire away. I'm going to go with Harrison Barnes here. I do want to see something real quick. They played once this season. He didn't do well. He only played... How many minutes did he play? 24 minutes. Let me do something real quick. Alright. So this is another site I use, but you have to use it like... There's no real right way to use it, but use it for the right purposes. searching up stats from like 2020, not gonna help you. Searching up stats from last year, not gonna help you. But if you look up stats from this season and you kind of figure out how players perform with XYZ teammate out, that's a great way to use StatMuse. Um, so this is what you would search. Um, it's super useful to type it like this because you get the game logs rather than the overall average. So for example, let's say in this situation I'm using Harrison Barnes with Wemby out. Let's say I wanted to search up um, Austin Reeves with LeBron James out. So what I would do is Austin Reeves without LeBron James log. Always put log so that you get the actual breakdown of the games. If you just do Harrison Barnes without Victor Wembanyama, this is what would pop up. Oh, wait. I guess they fixed it. You can actually see the log now. Before it would just be averages. But this one is a little bit better to put log because it'll give you the date from most recent to oldest. So as you can see with Victor out, Harrison Barnes has had a couple good games, a couple bad games. Let's see. This game they started Bassey, played 27 minutes. Keldon Johnson with a lot of run off the bench. Sohan, still on minutes restriction, I think. Either that or he's just getting phased out. But him and Keldon should pick up a lot of good run tonight. No, I don't do Four Nation picks. No hockey for me. So yeah, these are my favorite four so far. If you guys want to lock them in, go for it. I will be posting them in the Discord sooner or later. Still trying to figure out a couple more plays, but I feel like this is a good building block. Harden versus Milwaukee. Again, if you're late, 14 potential assists versus them last time. Milwaukee with the screen and roll defense allows for a lot of guards that go downhill to thrive in the assist department. LeBron James versus Portland. I think it's a good bounce back spot for the Lakers, assuming LeBron plays. I think this is pretty like quote unquote risk free. Either LeBron sits, Lucas sits, or they both play and LeBron has a great chance of going over assists tonight. De'Aaron Fox, 31.5 PA, with no Wemby. I think this is a great spot for Fox. Let me see here. 1 second. Fox wasn't on the team here yet, but I think it's a great spot for him. And then Bane, 25.5 PR. Great matchup versus the Pacers. Highest total on the slate. Had 10 defensive rebounding chances last time out. Pacers, kind of the weak link is that guard position. Nembhard is a capable defender, but again, I think this game is going to be really, really high scoring. And it seems like Vegas does as well. Yabusele PRA over. With Joel in, and Philly fully healthy, I don't think it's the safest play, but if you like it, go ahead and run it. I don't do soccer props, no. Also, keep in mind, a lot of the board isn't fully posted yet, so, usually I do my streams a little bit later, but again, still they're missing a lot of props here, so if you check back in, maybe in like 2 hours, they should have the rest of the board posted. Siakam under 9.5 field goals made, or 8.5 field goals made. Let me see here. In a fast-paced game, though, I don't know. I don't know about this one. I feel like there might be better unders on the board for you to take a look at. Kevin Durant, 19.5 points. I assume that's a Green Goblin. Yeah, I'll never say no to KD at 20 points. I don't really play Green Goblins too much, but this is as close to a lock as possible, I think. KD for 20, I think he's been damn near perfect this year. I think he's only missed like a handful of times. Let's see, drop this to 19.5. Yeah, he's only been under 20, like, 6 times this whole season. So I think that's probably the safest Green Goblin you can get tonight. Tatum rebounds, he's hit that line easily every time he's faced the Sixers. Okay. I will take a look at that for you. The only issue with Tatum, again, oh well, he didn't hit it in their last matchup. What is it at? I assume 8? Yeah, 8. He didn't hit it in their last matchup, but had 11 assists, 15 rebounds a game before that. Again, Boston's just a team where I struggle to find any read on them because they all take turns going off. What's going up, Bag? How are you, man? Yeah, I like these 4 so far. A demon play? Oof. My demon play would probably be either Fox. What about Harden? If it's Harden for 9.5 for the demon, or 10.5, yeah. I'd probably run this as the demon. I think Harden's in store for 12 assists tonight. Demon prop on PrizePicks is just like the alt line that you get a higher payout for. I don't usually recommend them, but sometimes they're good value. See, they're slowly adding more. They just added the Cleveland-Brooklyn game now. You got locks for the free 165. I will be posting that later today. It'll be completely free. And I'm running a massive giveaway with it too, so it's a win-win for everyone. Ooh, Joel at 14 RA. Kind of intrigued to take that one, to be honest. Sad he didn't play this game. And before we get there, I want to talk about Maxey. I played Maxey for the first time, I think, this season for points versus Toronto. Right? I was like, dude, his line's at, I think, 26.5. He scored 25 plus in like damn near 20 straight games or something like that. The last time he's missed was January 4th. So that's like, what, damn near 20 games. And in the first half, he only shot 2 shots. And he had like 2 points. That was like my only miss for that slip. But I'm like, damn, like, how's that possible where he shot twice the entire half? Yeah. What did you say? Let's see. Castle over 20.5 PRA. I do like that. Again, love the Spurs tonight. Garland, or you mean LeVert over 13.5. New role in ATL took over for Hunter. Love LeVert. I think they're really high on him as well. You see the minutes they're giving him. Let's see. This might be my next play. He played 35 minutes last game. Granted, this was without Clint Capella, but I don't think he was dealing with an injury this game. I think it was just a DNP. So, points and maybe PRA here. Should be able to get the same amount of run. Hold on, what was I looking at? Where did the tab go? Okay, here. 20, 10, and 7. 35 minutes. 18, 8, and 2 in 32 minutes. His PRA is at 21.5. PR at 17.5. Let's see LeVert's potentials from last game. That would be so legendary if you hit that free bet. Hey man, that's what I'm aiming for today. NBA's been really rough this season for me, but I mean, I'm trying. All right, so let's see here. 1 second. First, Orlando. How do I filter out? Okay, so 10 rebound. He has 8 boards, 10 rebounding chances. Let's see. What about his assists? First, Orlando. He had 2 assists on 1 potential. So, with that being said, I'll probably stay away. Let me check New York. How do I? 7. Hold on. I'm still trying to learn how to use this platform, guys. So bear with me. 7 potential. Um, Krejci's still out too. All right, I think I'm gonna go with Karis LeVert PR here. Should be fire. All right, now I just need one more leg. I'm feeling pretty good about this slip already. I may just post this one as the free one, to be honest with you. I'm just gonna get one more leg. Trying to see. I might go with another Spurs player, to be honest. Let me see here. Throw your ski mask on. Oh, man. Good times. One more leg. Any suggestions? Anything you guys like? That Levert shot was really solid. I was looking at that earlier, but totally just overlooked it on stream. Derek White, field goals made. It's tough, man. I like the play, don't get me wrong, but just Boston is just so hard for me to read. I may just wait and wait for the other props to get posted. But I really like this start so far. 5 really strong plays. What I'd take Versace PRA. I honestly don't mind it. I think it's a lot lower than I expected it to be. At 15, he should be getting cleared for 25 at least minutes, but he played 30 before the break, so don't be surprised if he plays another 30 tonight. Tatum RA. Again, Boston props. I don't have any read on it. Bradley Beal points over. Not a bad play. I think Booker's questionable, right? Which is odd. Wasn't he just skiing with Kendall Jenner? Maybe this site is just delayed. I think he's good to go. Towns rebounds. What are we looking at here? They're playing Chicago. Played twice this season. Had 16 and 10. Most recently here. I don't mind this spot. Damn near 20 rebounding chances per game. Decisions. Confidence in Fox PA. I like it. I think he has to shoulder a lot of the load, scoring wise. We know with Wemby out. Trying to find one more play here, guys. Sorry. Tyus Jones RA over. Saw a lot of people on that one. It's an 8. But the only issue with that is when everybody's good to go, he's going to get phased out. I doubt he finishes this game. Because I believe Beal was sitting out all the way up into the All-Star break. Yeah. Bane PR. Jeremy Grant points over. Not a fan of that one. Pal PA, I don't know if he's going to play, but that's not a bad read if he does. What are people playing today? Joel rebounds. Chris Paul assists. We could run Jarrett here. You know, I was a pretty big fan of Jarrett to begin the day. Now I'm a little skeptical. Other than that, there's no other popular play I really like, so that's a good thing. But Jarrett, super intriguing. I'm still deciding on what to do with him. He would be a perfect fit for the last leg. Something tells me he might be a trap tonight. But man, it's hard to ignore this in the revenge matchup, to be honest. But I'm gonna lock this in for now, and we can always tweak it later. You said Hoarder? Let's see. 4.5 RA. Let's see if we can see here. How many minutes did he play last game? Last game played under 20. Let's see. Durant points. He playing in his Texas University Stadium. Yeah, I don't mind that. 4-2. Porter. 7 rebounding chances so far for Hoarder. Not bad. Then assists wise, only 4 potential assists so far. Not the greatest there. How do you get good with pairing players together? I mean, it's hard, man. It's really hard. That's like the hardest part. You can put together a great list. You can go 8-2, but then if you have like everyone paired up incorrectly, it's hard to get parlays done like that. You know what I mean? But here's the locks for me today. I'll have an official free play posted for the giveaway later. I'm still debating on Jared Allen. That one is the iffy one. You guys can definitely tweak that one around and play whoever you like instead of Jarrett. I like Harden. I like LeBron. Love Fox. Bane, great play. Karis LeVert, another amazing play. But Jared Allen is probably the risky one for me. You know, a lot of people on him tonight. Kind of fishy when that stuff happens. But before I wrap up the stream, I will do a last second giveaway. I only have PayPal today. My Venmo does not work. So if you have PayPal and you want to participate in this giveaway, yeah, let me search up a random player real quick. I already had one in mind. So how this works is I'm going to show a random player from the NBA. You are going to guess the player without searching up the name. Yeah, first person to get it, either you'll get a free month subscription if you choose to, or 2, you'll get $25 PayPal. That's the only thing I have. So if you don't have PayPal, then take the free sub. Yeah, so here we go. The player. Let's see here. I don't know how to do it without showing the name. One second. Okay. Let's see here. All right, so here's the player. Oh shit! It shows the thing again. Both of them show the damn tag. How do I? One second. Oh shit! It showed the name. Hold on. I gotta figure out a way, because it still shows the name in the tab. One moment, guys. Here, I should do a screenshot. All right, for $25 PayPal or a free subscription, who is this player? And Wayne gets it first. But I think you commented that before I already put the player up because the thing showed. So I'll void that one. Let's run another one because I think I saw your comment already before that. I got another good one. All right. For $25 PayPal, who is this player? First person, let's see. Dang, Wayne got it again. That is tough. I don't know if he's looking up the URL or if he's actually guessing this, but good shit, Wayne. So DM me for either a free sub or 25 PayPal because I do not have Venmo. But good win there, Randy White. All right, guys. So that'll be it for me today. If you guys enjoyed the stream, appreciate you tuning in. I'll be back next week, regular timing on Friday. I have a funeral to attend tomorrow, so I had to stream today instead, so I apologize. But good luck with your bets. Here's a 6 I'm running tonight. 5 to win 12-5. 500 to win 12,500. 25x. Good luck. This isn't officially my free play. It could definitely be it, but this is what I like so far. Again, if you like plays, then run them. If you don't like a couple plays, um, then take them out. But I'll give a quick breakdown for the last couple of minutes here until we got our next set of hosts coming on. But if you're late, this is a breakdown of all the plays. So, James Harden, 9 assists. We like that play, again, if you're late, because Milwaukee plays a defense versus pick and rolls that allows a lot of guards to go downhill, that opens the floor for a lot of assists. Whether that's Suzu, Norm Powell, Kawhi, Amir Coffey, um, you know, I think that's definitely going to be a spot where uh, Harden can get at least 10 tonight. I like him for 10 plus. So if you're on FanDuel, if you're on DraftKings, or any other site that you can play alts, I like the 10 plus. LeBron James over 8 assists. I like this spot here. Again, the risk is very minimal. He either plays tonight, he sits tonight, or he plays without Luca. So I think the 8 assists, good bounce back spot, especially off of a loss last night. Fox, 31.5 PA, no Wemby, usage should be there. Phoenix playing really minimal defense versus guards, especially. Desmond Bain, fastest matchup of the day. Pacers, weak link is the guard slash forward position. Karis LeVert, probably my play of the day, I would say. I love this line for him as well. Playing heavy minutes off the bench, good usage, good potential boards. And then the riskiest leg for me is Jarrett Allen. A lot of people like him for 25 PRA, and that's the scary part about it too, is that in this season he's hasn't hit that line versus Brooklyn in 2 matchups. Yeah, play with caution. If you don't like any plays, feel free to swap out with your own or take what you like. Good luck on your bets. Have a great day. Happy Thursday. Again, if you want to hop in the Discord, use code SB50 down below in the promo code box. It'll be also linked below this tweet. So good luck. Have a great Thursday, and I'm out. Peace.
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Testing 1, 2. Awesome.
Mic check 1 2 1 2.
What's up?
Cool. Looking very tropical over there, Doug.
The shirt? Yeah, golf shirt.
It's
Funny,
15
I was like, hey, I haven't worn
degrees.
a golf shirt in a while.
It's 15 degrees in Dallas, so I'm very
It's
far away.
super windy right now. I know that. But to think I've made it downstairs or outside would be comical. All right, we are live. Good stuff. Welcome in. We are here every week at 2 p.m. Eastern, give or take a few minutes, because obviously we're starting a little early. I am Doug Kazarian alongside Analytics Capper. We are continuing the live stream here for DubClub. So we are connecting. I'm in Vegas. You're based in Dallas. And we are reacting to this Wemby news, huh?
Crazy stuff, man. I know you're a big futures market, awards market type of guy. I don't know if you're as active in the NBA, but that changes everything, right? From all NBA to Defensive Player of the Year, and also any of the futures when you're in regards to the Spurs as a team, right? Playoffs, things like that. So I don't know. What are your initial thoughts?
Yeah, so they were already big favorites to miss the playoffs. They were plus 650 last night to make the postseason, and that's not just make the play-in; it's actually to win games and to get in. It's totally crazy. I did not have an inside source, but last night I repurposed a thing I had from the beginning of the year, basically saying, is there value on the long shots in the Defensive Player of the Year awards market? He was minus 2,400 last night at FanDuel to win this Defensive Player of the Year. And to your point, I just want to remind our viewers, he will not be able to play the minimum games, so he cannot win. Even if somebody wanted to vote for him, and to your point, all NBA and things like that, that will have a contractual domino effect down the road. So he's out of the Defensive Player of the Year. And I was just saying the reason I brought it up, and because I went into the season, already we had sports betting history, just talking odds makers. There had never been a minus money favorite going into the NBA season for Defensive Player of the Year. And he was a $1.70. So right away, just based on, anecdotal talking, evidence and stuff. But it's crazy. So of the previous 42 winners, all 42 have made the postseason. And on top of that, in the last 20 years, only one player has won the award from a defense that was ranked in net defensive rating outside the top 5. So like last year, Gobert won as the head of the snake on an elite defense, right? So that year was 2010 when Marcus Camby won for the Denver Nuggets, and they were ranked 10th. Going into, today, the Spurs were ranked 19th in defensive rating. So it's just like, this was just astronomically an outlier season. You had this elite defensive player who's running away with the blocks lead, 8th in rebounding. But typically, it's never been a guy. So I was just saying, like, is there value just based on history, 30 and 35 to 1 with Jaren Jackson? Now, I was actually texting Windhorse, just not about the odds, but just saying, hey, do you know there's never been a Defensive Player of the Year that's missed the playoffs? And he's like, that's crazy. I've never thought of it like that. So we were just, and he's like, but he's so elite. I'm like, oh, I know. You don't. I'm not saying I don't think the voters care that he's going to miss the playoffs. I was just saying, statistically, it's going to be an anomaly. And literally hours later, he's out for the season. So I wasn't even, I was looking at the odds just to complete the article, but I was not like close to firing. I just thought there was no chance. Wemby has stopped 1-on-3 or 3-on-1 breaks. The guys pull it out.
Wemby as a defensive anchor is definitely someone we've never seen before. And one of the things that people don't like to talk about when we talk about this award is you need highlight defensive plays, not just the metrics, not just the advanced analytics, but unfortunately, just for the narrative perspective, some of these voters, and I'm not gonna hate on any of these people, but they look at SportsCenter top 10. They watch highlights, and if Wemby's going to be able to stop an alley oop and then go all the way on the other side, like those are memorable moments, and so that was important for Wemby as well. The other thing was I wanted to get into, Doug, is just the reaction to the market. As the news now is about an hour to 2 hours in, but you saw Jaren Jackson right now is the betting favorite, but the line has actually moved away from him. I think some of the bettors are starting to find value in guys like Dyson Daniels, and I think any of the OKC guys cancel each other out. So to me, you can't have Dort and Shea and those guys, because I think if you have 5 elite defenders, you're obviously going to have an elite defensive team. So you're looking at someone like Jaren Jackson, but it still reigns true. What you mentioned about Wemby, I think Memphis is 19th in the league in giving up, points total. He only averages 6 rebounds a game, which is really bad for someone his size. I mean, I don't know. I don't feel like Jaren Jackson right now would be my pick if I had to fire.
Yeah, and there is voter fatigue. He won it recently. I think Mobley was the guy. I mean, look, Mobley was the second favorite last night, and he was 30-1. So it's not like I'm sure odds makers weren't really crunching numbers of whether he should be the second or third favorite, 30-1. But in terms of Mobley, they're tied for the best record. They rank eighth in defensive rating. Jaren Jackson, they rank seventh in defensive rating. There's rarely a perimeter player. We saw Marcus Smart a couple years ago. So the Dyson Daniels is interesting at 12-1. Lou Dort 18-1. I would not consider SGA at 35-1. He's just not going to win. But is Bam at 70-1 worth playing?
There's no way they're gonna make SGA the MVP and the Defensive Player of the Year. I think the only players are Michael Jordan, Hakeem Olajuwon. Is SGA in that echelon? We don't know, but I don't think the voters are ready to make that type of statement. Bam
Well
is
said.
Bam is
They're not
actually
ready.
very, very interesting. I've been a defender of Bam for this award the last couple of years, to be honest. I just think his defensive versatility is very unique. And
Totally agree.
Miami now without Jimmy Butler and all of that, baggage, you expect hashtag heat culture, right? Second half of the season to come out in full force. And if they start moving up the rankings, it would be because of Bam after that really slow start to the season that he had. So I think Bam is very interesting. I actually think Dyson Daniels to me is the most interesting because his advantage on the steals market is just like the same advantage Wemby had in a blocks market. There's no one close to Dyson Daniels averaging three steals per game.
Going back to my history or whatever, the Hawks rank 15th in defensive rating, right? To make the playoffs, this is not a team that is expected. They're a slight favorite to miss, minus $1.25. I do agree they're the most intriguing. Or Dyson Daniels, the Great Barrier Thief, which is such an awesome nickname and very clever. I mean, the Thunder, to your point, have the number one net rating. Their coach will not win Coach of the Year, so that's part of the reason the MVP and the voter fatigue thing is going to Shea. It wouldn't be crazy to have Dort, the Dorture Chamber, also an excellent nickname. The Magic, no. Rockets, like Clippers have the second rating. I mean, Derek Jones Jr. is fantastic, but he's not, a household name or whatever. I mean, I think Mobley, he's just not I mean, it's just, Mobley's, it's like barely plus money, right? Plus a quarter. So I think Lou Dort 18-1 definitely is the most intriguing.
I
So
would say
him or
that the
Daniels.
argument against Evan Mobley, because you mentioned some of the great things. Number one seed in the East, most likely will finish number one there. But if Jared Allen, when he does return and start, getting all those center minutes, which is going to get a lot of the rebounds, potentially a lot of the blocks, it's going to be hard for the voters to say Evan Mobley's a defensive player of the year when you have a pretty elite defensive guy as center standing next to him. That is my only concern when it comes to him. That's why I like Dyson Daniels as the most intriguing pick here because nobody on that team really plays any defense. It's just him. And not only is it just him, but he is like completely overhauling that defense by himself, right? Being the buzzword is the tip of the spear, the point of attack defender, right? And he's that guy, and he's able to get back, box out, and grab rebounds as well. He's basically averaging the same rebounds as Jaren Jackson, right? 6 to 5.5. Like it's not a big difference, and he's playing defense on the perimeter. So I think Dyson Daniels is an intriguing player.
Is he a big enough name for vote? So this is really fascinating because you're handicapping humans, as in the voters, more than you are the players. And there is a herd mentality to voting. And people don't like to be scrutinized by nature. There's the people are people pleasers by nature, and they want to avoid conflict. So you have a, you know, crammed existence for a lot of voters who probably haven't even thought about this award beyond Wemby, right? How many guys have and gals have really been thinking about their second and third place votes? And there's a herd mentality, and there's so many more important things to be thinking about, right? Trades, all that stuff. As a writer, so there's going to be, you almost got to read the tea leaves, like some big influential personality like Stephen A or someone like that does a rant, and then people will follow. So obviously betting injury news is one thing, like once this news hit, checking the awards market. But now this thing, you have to really monitor it if you care. So I wouldn't care for a plus 125 bet like Mobley or even Jaren Jackson at minus a quarter. I'd be waiting, like really scoping for these long, like these 14 to ones and 18 to ones. I think there's potential here. I wonder if Lou Dort, I think he's a big enough name for the number one rated defense.
It
I
would
don't
be a
know
team
if
award.
Daniels,
It would be like
I don't
Marcus
know if the
Smart.
masses can get behind Daniels just yet.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Lou Dort winning would be the same as Marcus Smart winning that year because Boston had the best defense, had the best wing defense as well. So
I mean, but Dort would deserve it more. But anyway, that's my conversation.
yes, Dort would deserve it more. Although he is playing with three or four other, there's arguments that he's not even the best defender on his own team, right?
Well, that was my beef with Smart, but yeah,
So I think right now it's going to be a PR battle between Memphis Grizzlies, Jaren Jackson, right, and the Cleveland Cavs with Evan Mobley. And with Jaren Jackson already winning it, just, I don't know, less than 20 months ago, I think Cleveland
right.
should be pushing for this a lot more. If I was running the Cavs social media team and their marketing and stuff, that's what the focus should be is Evan Mobley right now.
Well, as someone who lost out on the MVP in the WNBA in like a heavy six figures because of the 50 to 1 Alyssa Thomas, because Liberty PR team, I don't endorse such behavior, but I understand it. I guess we've seen multiple winners. So I would say defensive player of the year has the least sort of resistance to voter fatigue of any of the awards, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
Rudy Gobert winning it 4 times, yeah,
right, right.
absolutely.
And so, and just so you know, just for quick clarification, Gobert won it last year, Jackson the year before.
Yeah.
Um, so that I just wanted to mention that. Um, I do fundamentally think it's pretty crazy that a perimeter player wins this. I think it has to be a defensive player or a defensive big.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
the last perimeter guy was,
Marcus Smart.
let me look. I guess Marcus Smart. Yeah, Marcus Smart in 2022. Before that, you can make an argument Draymond is, but Draymond is a great rim defender, especially in his
Yeah,
prime.
Kawhi. I think you can make the, you know,
Yeah,
Kawhi.
yeah, yeah.
But before
That's tough.
that was like maybe Ron Artest in 2003,
Yeah.
Gary
The herd
Payton.
mentality that you mentioned, Doug, and I guess let me level set for those jumping on. We're 10 minutes in. We do this show every week on Thursday afternoons, 1 hour. We talk bets. We talk about our favorite edges and angles that we see heading into the weekend across all sports. Right now, we are reacting to the Wemby news, which is, it's a huge thing in the NBA, not only for the team as a whole who just traded for De'Aaron Fox, but him as an individual player for all these awards. And we'll get into bets. And if you want to get any of our free plays for the weekend, 3-day free trial, definitely check out the comments in this video. You'll have Doug's free trial as well as mine. But I wanted to mention, you said the herd mentality. We see that for voting, and then you also see that against certain players as well, right? And I think one of the examples that really stick out in my mind was when Marc Gasol won over LeBron. To me, it was very clear the voters didn't want LeBron to sweep the awards that year, and they're like, okay, we'll just give Gasol this award.
I don't vividly remember that. I do think it's kind of crazy LeBron did not win this award at his peak. And just going back to the perimeter thing, it's not like a perimeter player can't be the best player, best defender on his team, but to be the best in the league, there's got to be a rim protector who's more valuable, like in that regard. It's just the nature of the position. So when splitting hairs, I just wonder fundamental. Like Kawhi's a different, like he's sort of a different animal. But aside from those types of guys, like I don't like Marcus Smart, like that was pretty crazy. Anyways, but it's part of our conversation for this because Daniels and Dort have such nice, attractive prices at 12 to 1 and 18 to 1, respectively. I mean, is Amin Thompson at 60 to 1?
I like him as a
I don't.
player.
I
I
don't
think
think
the
voters are
team,
ready for that.
yeah, the team is gonna start fading, in my opinion. So it's gonna hurt his value. That's my 2 cents because I think it's gonna go hand in hand. You mentioned that Wemby would have been the only player in history to win the award and not make the playoffs. And I'm
Right.
not saying Houston would miss the playoffs, but I think other teams right below them, namely the Clippers, they're gonna start potentially jumping Houston, in my opinion.
I mean, Clippers do have the second rating as Zubac. I mean, like I don't know, like he's 120 to 1. I can't imagine he's going to win this, but
Is this one interesting to you? Let's say Milwaukee goes on a 24-6 run, finishes second or third in the East. Not only is Giannis is gonna get some MVP buzz, but
I'm
he's
betting
gonna have,
Giannis right now.
yeah, top 10 in blocks, top 10 in rebounds. Not many people can say that. Not many people can say that.
And there has been some like annoyance by people that he's not getting enough MVP love. This was when they were before they swooned and got hurt, but
Yeah, while you look that up, I'm gonna start, I guess, discussing some NBA bets tonight. So, yeah, that was our initial reaction to DPOY. I don't think Jaren Jackson is a smart bet right now. Again, right when the news broke, he was
explain.
minus 130 on DraftKings. He's now down to minus 110. There's a few arguments for him, but the big ones that are against them, he just won 2 years ago. He's played in every single game so far this season, which is a rare thing for him. He's been in the league for 7 years. He's only hit the 65 game mark twice, and one of those was 66 games, so barely. I'm not saying he's going to get hurt in the next 2 months, but don't be surprised, right, if something potentially happens to him. He is bigger now than he was 5 years ago. He's more durable now, so he's not as injury prone. But he just needs, in my opinion, to get that rebounding number up, like 6 for a guy that size and athleticism. It should be, closer to double digits, and then he really needs to start, leading the NBA in blocks, and he's not even close to that. But to me, the value there is Dyson Daniels. When the news broke, Doug, when the Wemby news broke, Dyson Daniels was 30 to 1. Now at 1:15 Central Time, he is 12 to 1.
I mean, yeah, I mean, dude, Jackson was 35 to 1 last night. He's now minus money favored. That's the beauty of awards betting. Now, this was a unique situation with an injury, but we don't see those kind of moves in money lines and point spreads. So that's why the books are just at a disadvantage in these types of markets, the awards market, the draft, things along those lines. But let's table this. Let's turn to the page, like you were suggesting a second ago, and get to the NBA card. We had one game last night. Lakers lose outright as 12-point favorites. Game goes way under. First half flew under, second half under by a few points. Luka's under his props for the most part. He went over his rebounds plus assists. But they're back at it tonight. I know it's the last game of the card, but that's the one I have circled on. I grabbed +4 last night.
You're a
Everyone,
Portland
no
backer.
props yet for the
Yeah.
Lakers. What's that?
I said you're a Portland backer. It makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I like Portland in general. I've been riding this gravy train when they'd won covered 11 straight, but I just thought that was a good number, grab. And so it's 3 for the most part now. We just don't know if Luka or LeBron's going to play. If one of those guys is out, I think Austin Reeves is going to have a monster day. He got ejected for, I guess, too many F bombs because you got 2 technicals right away. It wasn't just 2 over the course of the game. So that's something worth mentioning. I mean, I think no Aiton's actually a good thing for Portland. He's just lazy, and Chauncey has his team playing well. A lot of guys questionable, but I think they're going to play. So that's where I sit. But I'm definitely keeping an eye on the Lakers' status to see the props. But Austin Reeves props is what I'm eyeing.
Yeah, I mean, it would be Portland or nothing for me as well. The Lakers have won 5 straight in this head-to-head matchup, including covering the last four. All the value is on Portland. Lakers second night of back-to-back. The other reaction here I'd like to say is for those who are new Luka fans, right? Los Angeles Lakers, he is an under player, not his player props, but the team. If he's going to be leading that team and dribbling the ball for 20 to 22 seconds, the pace is going to be even slower than when LeBron is leading that team as the point of attack. So look for unders there, especially in LA, because everyone expects the showtime. It's usually the last game of the night, so people are betting overs as well. But the angles there will definitely be on the underside.
Really? So even with their terrible defense and all that, you're big on pace. You're
I'm big on
prioritizing that.
pace. Yeah, pace to me equals opportunities, and they shoot very few threes anyways. So I don't think the variance is going to be that great for a team like the Lakers.
By the way, the DraftKings has put up some props for Luca and LeBron. I think they're just, like if obviously if one of those guys is scratched, everybody's refunded. So it's not that concerning for an odds maker. And I've asked odds makers about this kind of stuff. They're like, look, we get two-way action. You guys are the ones that have to guess.
Hmm.
You're only having one-way action, in theory, which I get the principle of it. So I that's the game that stood out. I mean, obviously there is a look to the Nuggets, but
Yeah,
16 and a half is a monster number. They talk about, the great equalizer, the point spread being the great equalizer. Like at some point it's too much, right? So, excuse me. I mean, the Hornets should lay the biggest egg known to mankind, and that second unit of Denver will run people out of the building. So the Hornets, who are not good, off a win back to back in altitude, they should get blown out.
yeah, I agree with that. The game I actually want to look into, and it dovetails into exactly what we talked about for the first 15 minutes is Wemby. So Wemby's gone for the Spurs. That team without Wemby is not that good, guys. They don't have
No kidding.
great size. They don't have the ability to get their own shot outside of De'Aaron Fox. But is it injury news if I were or like reaction to injury news if I pick someone like the Suns, which I hate to do, but I say in this case, this is such a like monumental, massive change for the team that the Suns have to take advantage and beat the Spurs. I mean,
Well, so you raised an interesting point. So Wemby was doubtful for tonight. The question is, what's the mindset of this Spurs team knowing that their star is out for the year?
yeah,
Because we saw very different situation, but not maybe very strong. Different situation, but there's some common denominators here. When the Mavs traded Luca on that Saturday night, they played a Sunday game and lost by 50.
to the Cavs. Yep.
They were pretty deflated. Now, again, different situation, direction of the franchise. Kyrie sat out, a bunch of scrubs with some regular players, and they literally lost. And Cleveland hit every shot, I will say that. But they were down. I mean, they gave up like 90 in the first half.
Yeah.
And this game, since we're on it, is actually in Austin, Texas at the UT campus because the NBA thought of something clever this year, much like colleges. Teams go to some of their star player hometowns, like Zach Edey for Purdue played in Toronto and stuff like that. They do like preseason tournaments and stuff. So they're doing this. So Kevin Durant with the Suns is playing back in Austin. He was there 1 year and whatever, but
Oh, he's still beloved there, man. I'm a
yeah, I mean, you would
Austin
know this better than
guy.
I.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's the cool thing about Kevin Durant being a Longhorn is that he really reps it. Even though he was there for literally 9 months, he really reps it. And so the student body and the alumni really appreciate that. It's to me, it's a Phoenix play or nothing tonight, right? Because although this is supposed to be a like a neutral field, it's closer to the San Antonio than Phoenix, obviously. but you're gonna get a ton of Texas Longhorns fans there, and they're pro Durant through and through. So I expect Durant to have a great showing. I expect the Suns to take advantage and just demolish
So you
this.
mentioned, I mean, you're like, back in the Suns, which I don't like doing, and I laughed. They have the single worst ATS in the entire NBA, 1934-1. And I literally said like a few weeks ago, like I'm fading this team the rest of the year. But we say that as not really literal. I would think this. So I did a video last night. I said -2 was a lean. I agree. I think the Wemby news, you got me thinking. I think this is like that Luka trade news. Like, I think there's a demoralizing stench is a strong word because that implies like tension and dysfunction. It's got to feel like a funeral in the locker room.
But even on that note, as the coaching staff and the front office at this point, what's truly the point to win these games? So right now they're
You're not
12th
even
in,
at home.
yeah, they're
This is a
12th in the West.
coronation for Durant.
Yeah, they're 12th in the West. They're not going to make the playoffs without Wimby. If they're not going to bottom out because they do have some talent on that team with De'Aaron and Steph Castle and those guys. But let's say they just start going on a losing streak, getting another high draft pick. This is another David Robinson, Tim Duncan situation, and they already have
Oh boy,
other
they
draft
got
capital.
flagged. I'm quit the NBA.
I mean, that would be the smart
What
strategy.
about the win one for the Gipper? I mean, they love him. It's a health scare, so we do want to be reflect in what everyone's thinking. We hope he's obviously okay and everything. But is there a moment where they circle the wagons for at least one game?
It might be tonight. I don't know.
Yeah,
If
I mean,
you
if
were
it's going to happen, it's going to be tonight.
If you were De'Aaron Fox, you made your move, right? You manipulated this move to get to San Antonio so you could play with Wimby, who you think would be the face of the franchise, potentially make a playoff run this season because you're sacrificing your playoff run with the team you were at for 8 years.
Right.
How are you feeling right now? Right? There's no way you're gonna be up for this game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd be pretty deflated if I'm on the Spurs. Now they do have some solid role players. Like I think Castle will be fine. He's like a dude, He's like a
He's a
hooper, and
monster. Yeah.
he's got an edge to him. Uh, I mean, if Booker was not playing, I'd run away from this Suns bet. But Booker's the one dude who I can rely on. Chris Paul is pretty competitive. Suns are such like they have no backbone.
It's pretty sad that the last memory we have of Wemby this season is going to be how he cheated the skills competition and got DQ'd. Isn't that crazy? I guess
I
the last
forgot about
moment
that.
is going to be the documentary on Netflix right now because it's a lot of
Chris
Wemby.
Paul made him cheat. I blame Chris Paul. He's the one
I thought so too, but
angling.
Wemby admitted to it. Wemby
Oh, he
admitted it
did.
was him. Yeah, he did.
That's
I
funny.
thought it was 100% Chris too because that seems something that CP3 would like.
Oh, of course.
But
I
Draymond
detoxed
came
last
out.
weekend.
Draymond came out and said that Wemby was already practicing like that prior to doing it. And then
I've watched, and when I've seen 3 shots all miss, and they get to go to the next station, I'm like, why don't they just? I've thought about this. I guess it's already in the rules. What was I gonna say? Oh, a week ago you were teasing me for saying Tyler Hero catch and shoot versus off the dribble, and here we hit. How about that?
that was a nice pick. Props to Doug there. I had Buddy Hield to make the finals, so we both cashed. Last week I also picked the underdog of the night. Minnesota beat OKC. I'm gonna give you the underdog of the night tonight. Ready? Philly outright against
Again.
Boston.
Wow.
Yep, you heard it.
So they're 1-1 outright and 2-0 ATS against Boston this year. This number was 8, got bet down to 7 overnight, and you say Philly at full strength. Now, keep in mind, Boston is at full strength, or at least expected to be. Why? Give me your breakdown.
So the big equalizer when it came to these two teams had always been Al Horford. Al Horford defended Joel Embiid really well. But this is not the same Al Horford from 3, 4 years ago. I think Joel Embiid is going to be able to get Chris Stapps in really bad positions, and once he is in foul trouble, it's a domino effect for the rest of their team because Embiid is just gonna, in my opinion, is just going to continue to, like push his will on the game and get the big men out. That's the only way that they can really compete because if you're trying to shoot as many threes as Boston, if you're trying to run with Boston, that's when it's scary. But I think Philly, hopefully, hopefully they see this. It's through Embiid and it's through the big guy.
So you're saying Porzingis is going to guard him because Horford doesn't start with Porzingis. That's what
Yep.
you're saying. Okay. And then Philly's going to be out, I think, Lowry and Gordon.
Which is a plus.
Yeah, I will say some of these dudes play hard against Boston. Like I think Oubre plays really hard. These are different situations. I think this Celtics tension and all that. I lean Boston just because of regression of shooting. But one play I like in the game quite a bit is Quentin Grimes over 10.5 points.
Oh, I like that.
He's been a gunner. It should be like 12.5, 13.5. It's just a little too low. I think he's going to get to 10 just based on recent performance and shooting threes. And Boston kind of gets lazy. Like they don't lock down defense because they just want to turn it into a 3-point game. And there's a little bit of, championship hangover. Maybe they're up for this game and lock down. But Grimes, he's not afraid to gun, which I think is really important in these situations because, for example, like Austin Reeves when he first played alongside LeBron. Better examples, Christian Brown playing alongside Jokic. These guys are just trying to fit in, and they'll only shoot when it's like less than 7 seconds on the shot clock. But now they're more comfortable and assertive in the offense, and they'll shoot early in the clock if the shot is the right shot. And so those type of role players, things along those lines, I think that's one way to look at it. That's really important because then it becomes a usage thing, right? And so I think Grimes will have good usage.
I like that. I like that look a lot. And
Games
we know
I like.
if he's
Sorry, I
going to
was just
go up
talking about.
against if he's going to go up against Peyton Pritchard, I guess one last thing in this game is Pritchard. He's the favorite right now for sixth man of the year, but he's the type of the guy that is he's gonna want to go 1-on-1 with Grimes, and he's also gonna let Grimes do his thing. I see 3 or 4 minutes there, midway second quarter or early fourth quarter, where it's just the two of them going at each other, and that's where Grimes can get 2 or 3 threes. I like that a lot.
So we had 20 in the last game against Boston, but I think Sixers were missing a bunch of guys. By the way, I don't really have a pulse of how the voters are going to vote, but I do not agree with Pritchard being minus 200. His minutes are going down, his production's going down. Now, maybe at the end of the year it will go back up because guys will be staggering, but Boston's not running away with the 1 seed anymore. I don't agree. Like I don't think it's a done deal that just because he's put up some nice numbers doesn't mean he's going to win 6-man.
I think the argument for Pritchard is if not him, then who else? I think that's the tough call.
Yeah, I mean, a few weeks ago I bet Naz Reid at 75-1. He's now 13-1.
Yeah.
I mean, Naz Reid was a huge long shot in January last year and won this award. So there will be some momentum from someone. I think DeAndre Hunter's interesting just because he was a 6-man, and then guys are coming back for Cleveland now. He's changed teams. I don't know if guys can win. Of course they can, but do they win awards if they change?
It would be
teams?
weird. Yeah, it would be weird.
But if there's an award that you can do it, I think 6-man is the award, right? If you're like a bench player, I think Amen Thompson's interesting at 25-1, just given the love and the momentum he has. Don't think Bradley Beal's going to get there at 80-1. Just love that he's on the short list of like 8 guys. Games tonight. So I did play D'Angelo Russell under 5.5 assists, and I wrote this for the New York Post.
Interesting.
So if you follow a team and you know what's going on, just think about like this hockey game, right? The Four Nations. There's so much stuff going on. That's getting big handle. College basketball, of course, NBA, Wemby stuff. it's just a lot for these odds makers to track. And if you follow a team and understand a team, I think there's really good opportunities. And that's why I like D'Angelo Russell under 5.5 assists. So there's no Cam Thomas, who's a gunner for Brooklyn right now. So Russell is either the first or second most shot attempts of any Brooklyn net these days. And it's like 15-ish, okay? And then he's getting the line for a few free throws as well. So obviously, if you're shooting a bunch, you're not racking up assists. And because the Nets are sort of tanking and everything, he's capping out at 26 minutes.
Yep.
So yeah, you think he's going to be this facilitator and no Ben Simmons since he's been bought out, blah blah blah. He's not. Like in the games Simmons missed, because of course Ben Simmons can't play back-to-back games. We do have some sample size here, and it's not like his assists go up. He's averaging 3.2 over the last 6 games.
Yeah.
5.5 minus $140 on the under is a monster number. I think the number should be like 3.5. I mean, it's crazy for a starting point guard to have that, but I mean, they're playing Cleveland, which could blow them out and then turn into soft defense. But now Cleveland plays tomorrow at home against the Knicks, but the Nets do not. I don't know. I think that number's way off.
Yeah, I mean the argument for that is how so when I look at assists, I'm gonna look at how the defense will play D'Angelo Russell. And there's no one that D'Lo can really hunt on the Cavs because if you try to
Right.
go, yeah, if you try to go and do pick and roll again, because he's a pick and roll guy. If you try to go at Donovan Mitchell or Darius Garland, you're bringing, Evan Mobley, Max Strus, Dean Wade, these guys that can play defense. DeAndre Hunter, right, newly acquired. So I agree with you. I think if anything, he would just take on the guys one-on-one without bringing a screen, which is gonna lower his chances for assists. So it makes sense to me. I mean, you
Yeah,
hit
and also you
D'Angelo
need
Russell
guys to miss
over,
shots too, and
yeah,
and the Nets do that pretty well.
yeah,
So
very true.
look, if they bomb a bunch of shots, but I think the key is 26 minutes. I mean, you look at all his games; he's playing between 23 and 26. Jordy Fernandez is using the bench. He wants to know what he has for next year, that type of stuff. So Russell's getting his shots up, and I mean, the other guys are not. Now Cam Johnson's a capable shooter, but besides that, like, who the heck's going to hit shots off Russell passes? There could be some lobs here and there, and I will say Keon Johnson's he's not afraid to shoot either. They're just an awful team. I think they get blown out. They may not, but I think that's a really strong play. Like it's 4.5 at some spots, but 5.5 minus 40, I think, is a good play.
I mean, the lack of minutes is huge, right? And
Yeah.
if he's gonna have the normal rotation in that first and third quarter, by that third quarter and they're down 25 to 30, he's not coming back in the fourth, right? So it's yeah, I like that. I like that a lot, actually. I think
So
I'm
certainly
firing
win
on the
that
Suns.
over, right?
Doug, I think I'm firing on the Suns. I'm gonna make an official play.
Yeah,
Phoenix
I'm
Suns.
just worried with Chris Paul. The leadership, they have better leadership. That's my concern. God, I wish it was a different team playing the Spurs.
It'd be too easy then. It would be too easy.
I know. Like Durant back in Austin. Like, is he going to be his mindful? Like, I don't know if he's trying to win or just trying to entertain the fans.
All right. So in total, there's what, 9 games on tonight's slate. Any other angles or things you want to talk about in the NBA?
I'm on the Clippers. The number keeps going higher. It's at
Mm,
3 now. I think the Bobby Portis absence and suspension is significant. We'll see. Giannis and Dame are questionable, so I expect them to play. But this Clippers team is really solid. We talked about their defense earlier. I do like the Philly pieces that they added with Kuzma and Kevin Porter Jr. I mean, Middleton just wasn't playing.
yeah.
The number's getting high at 3. I know a sharp math guy made it 4, so he bet it at 1.5 or 2. 3 is, I guess, doable. I mean, they're still road fit. I like this Clippers team a lot, and I think this is a game where they typically will play well. And Doc Rivers is a little questionable times, so that's one game that I've hemming and hawing over still at this current market.
I mean, I can't talk you off of it. Clippers are my team that I've flagged to focus on in the second half. I think not only are they going to start winning and covering, but I think they have a good chance in the West, and no one's really talking about them. You know, the Luka trade just changed everything in LA. That's all that the news is going to be there. But the Clippers are by far, my team to focus on. I think I'm good with
Remember
the
the Lakers
NBA.
smoked them right when the Luka trade was. Remember Lakers were rolling
Yeah,
without AD.
man, did Nico Harrison know stuff we didn't know with how Luka's been playing? I'll
Well, I
just
was
play.
joking that is this going to turn into when like Seahawks traded Russell Wilson? And everyone's like, oh my god, makes the Broncos a contender, and then he was like benched. Um, where do you sit on the highest over under of the NBA season with Memphis visiting Indiana, 250, 251.
So I'm a big pace guy. The pace is definitely
Miles
going to be
Turner
there.
is back for Indy, so that
Okay.
obviously helps.
Um,
I would bet over before I'd bet under.
it's that high for a reason, and we saw it last year. I think it was Indy and Atlanta, I believe, and it was this
Bingo.
high as well, and it
Nailed it.
flew over, right? So
290, I think it
yeah,
was. Like styles make fights. I
yeah.
will say it was earlier in the season. There could be some rust. We saw, Charlotte and the Lakers last night miss shots. I would bet a Memphis team total over before I would bet the game over.
Hmm.
They bomb and they run and they have no shame about that. Second unit will just keep coming at you. The Pacers, I don't know what Halliburton, like his standard deviation of performance is just he'll go for 35 and then he'll go for 13. I just don't know what I'm getting with that guy.
Is it crazy he was on Dream Team last year?
Dude, he was like irreplaceable too. I think the Kings did the right thing trading him and getting Sabonis.
I'm a big Sabonis guy, so I will always defend
Everyone
that
made
trade.
fun of the Kings, and then it's funny they traded Halliburton because they had Fox, and then traded Fox for not much. Yeah, I mean, I think look, the Kings are punching bag for a reason. Their owner says some stupid stuff, but I do think that trade, I think they deserve an apology a little bit.
Yeah, I'm a big Sabonis guy, but I would say the Fox move was terrible, and then Zach LaVine just bringing Chicago West over it was also a weird move. But we'll see. Yeah, we'll see with that team.
So
All right.
are you looking at the over at all?
I mean, I agree. It's over. It's that high for a reason. I would only play the over there. The scary part of really, really high overs is it takes like a bad 6 minute stretch and you're screwed, right? And so
Oh, bad 2 minute stretch. I mean,
2 minutes they can still make, 6, 7 threes in the next 5 possessions. But s- when you're talking about half a quarter, that's tough. I'll see what the halftime score is, and then maybe I'll
right.
jump in. Yeah,
I had Lakers under second half last night after such a low scoring. I was like, dude,
nice.
and then it was crazy fourth quarter. They had a lot of points, but it still went under. But I'm not opposed to. Usually, it gets played back the opposite way. So if the first half goes over, the sharps play it the other way, just because they think of the bell curve and the larger landing area. I think outlier situations like last night off a break, rust, things like Luca's lugging around, um, overweight perhaps. I'll be interested in these games too.
Do we know if Anthony Davis is going to come back in time to be eligible for Defensive Player of the Year? Because that's a
Ooh,
dark
ooh,
horse. Because that's a dark horse.
ooh.
Yeah, you
He's
do
been.
that.
They said it. He's going to be reevaluated in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That was news like I don't know, 20 minutes ago.
So if he gets that 65 game mark, and the Mavs start winning, I mean that's a lot of narrative right there behind him.
I like your style. He's not even on the board.
Yeah, he wasn't on DraftKings earlier when I checked.
Okay, so now we got to look at this live. Then I want to go to college hoops, but
Yeah, while Doug looks that up, I'll speak to some of the college stuff tonight. So we have a lot of the small schools, right? We get that a lot for Thursday night. The one I'm actually looking at is And this is the last game of the night. Loyola Marymount against Santa Clara. I like Loyola there. Getting the
He's
points
not
plus
going to
11.
return, by the way. They've got like 30 games left. He's going to miss 2 weeks, and he needs 22 more.
Okay. Yeah, so he's ineligible then.
It's too bad. Good idea, though.
Yeah. But anyways, I like Loyola here. I think they have all the value heading into tonight. It is a road game for them. Um, but for those who are like new to college basketball, like to me it's very regionalized. So like Santa Clara, Loyola, both being in California, there's a lot of ties, and I usually like, and it's a generalization, right? But I usually like the underdog there because I feel like when high school players grew up together and they compete against each other, same region, there's just a lot more familiarity. And so I like the points. I like it to be a lot more competitive than not. So I like Loyola tonight. That's the one that I've targeted so far, and it's the last game of the night.
What's the angle?
Um, Loyola is not a great road team. I think they're only 3-7 or 2-8 on the road this season. But there's a reason why this line has stayed at 11.5. I would assume that most people are going to be betting Santa Clara, the home team, and a team that's just been better all season, especially against the spread. But Loyola matches really well against them. They beat them the last time out, so I don't think there's any fear factor here. I don't think there's a zigzag theory potential here. I think Loyola just plays SC really, really close, and I like the points. 11.5 is a lot.
Cool. So only game involving a ranked team is Maryland laying double digits against USC. I like this Maryland team, but not enough to lay double digits. I think USC probably covers. Also in the Big Ten, Ohio State laying 9.5 to Northwestern. Purple Cats much better at home than on the road.
Yeah.
Nothing jumps out to me. I've been pretty involved with this North Carolina A&T team in the Colonial. So what happened is, remember that point shaving news that surfaced a couple weeks ago? Mm-hmm. There were a few schools that allegedly involved. So they were one of the schools. They were 0-10, and they had two of their top two scorers suspended, 4 guys I think in total. So they were a shell of a team, but the market didn't know how to have a power rating on a team that's like throwing games, right? So then they just start nearly pulling off upsets. So they're 3-1 ATS since those guys were suspended. All 4 games have gone under, so they're playing hard on D. Other teams probably not playing too hard, and then they're grinding out. They almost had some big upsets, and they finally won a game in conference. So now they're at home. I do like the under a little bit, not a big play, but 136.5 is where the market is now. And this number's been steamed up. The number did look short overnight. So they're playing Campbell. And in the last game, they were huge, which was their first game not first game, maybe second game, after their suspensions, right? I mean, just think about all the stats that go into a team's like profile and make up the power rating. Well, those stats almost need to be thrown out because you had point shaving, right? Mm-hmm. And so leading scorers out, you have this random, it's kind of like the defensive player of the year, right? We don't know what the hell, to do with this market. So that's what they were like, double-digit dogs, and they came down to the wire. So Campbell, they played 10 days ago. It was brick after brick in the first half. They combined for 47 points. Second half at 81. Campbell, which shoots a lot of threes, ultimately finished 5 for 20, but I think they were 0 of 10 or something in the first half. And then North Carolina A&T was 1 of 14 from downtown in the game. So the number got steamed. So it's now 5.5. I think you have to lay it with the Camels. Like, they are much better. Like, they should win by more than 5.5.
Yeah.
So I got to think about this now. I mean, North Carolina team, when they're getting like 10, 11, and they're facing a team when they're I think it's much more attractive than a team that didn't play well against them last time, that has a lot of variance of shooting threes, and it's just way better. Like, they should cover this.
Yeah, I mean, I have no thoughts there. You've been following this team all year long, so I defer.
Well, at least the last month since the suspensions.
Yeah.
I need to talk to my West Coast small conference guys like who follow this, like Cal Polys and the UC San Diego's and those
Hmm.
type of schools. There's been some big ugly dogs covering late, like at Hawaii and things. So there's been some nice late night hoops. So I think San Diego's catching 12 and a half, or they're laying 12 and a half. I was going to say Cal Poly's really bad, but they were worse last year, which was funny. Um, yeah, I mean, what do you think now that Green Bay won a game? What do you think of Gottlieb and the Phoenix? They're playing, I believe, tomorrow.
They're about to go streaking, man. They're about to
Yeah,
go streaking.
so there's that.
Yeah. The other
Michigan
game,
State is tomorrow.
yeah.
I have my
One
eye
more
on
game
that game.
tonight. One more game tonight that hopefully call one of your small schools, but Stonehill is playing Wagner. It's the lowest total of the night,
Oh,
125.
come on.
It opened at 124. It's gone up a point. I actually like the other. I like the under there just because it's that low for a reason. Um, I don't know. It's another game that I've circled, and I want to see what the score is at halftime. So one of the things I look for at halftime, I think this is a great educational session, is the amount of threes each team has taken and just what
Hmm.
their percentages is. So if you can kind of extrapolate that, and you think that the pace is going to continue in the second half, and if you think, here's a good example. Let's say each team shot 10 threes in that first half. In my head, I think that they're going to get very familiar with the defense and get a lot more comfortable. Those 10 three-pointer attempts should be more in the second half, in my opinion, if the pace is the same. So I like if the game is competitive. So if the game is really really high scoring already in that first half, I actually go the other. I like it to continue. But in this case, if we see both teams struggling and they're not shooting threes and it's really low scoring, I would actually press, and do a second half under there. So it's a game I've circled to see what the halftime score is for sure.
Yeah, and honestly, that's how the market typically reacts with NBA because I follow that in terms of like the second halves and all that much more religiously. Um, I can certainly get behind that, and I do want to mention, this is a time where we do have to talk about ourselves. I hate it, but college basketball has been great for me this year. Up 44 units over this season, 74.1 over the last 2 years.
Nice.
So for whatever reason, college basketball, it's an easier sport to handicap. The NBA is really difficult, but you know, things have been going well in the calendar year too. 86.08 units in
Wow.
January and February. So that's
That's
betting
impressive.
like I have a half unit on D'Angelo Russell. So that's a high volume of success. So hopefully it continues. I did have 6 straight winning days until yesterday. I lost 2.3 units. So hopefully those links you guys can sniff around. And I know you've had a monster 2025 as well.
Yeah, it's been a great start to the year. Last week was a down week for me, so I had 5 straight winning weeks until last week. I lost both Saturday and Sunday, but this week has been great. Monday, Tuesday were both up, and then Wednesday was small. I ended up playing Rutgers last night, which hit, but then I also had Central Florida. They gave up, I don't know, like 60 points to Oklahoma State in the first half, and they couldn't come back after that. But yeah, looking to bounce back today. I'm looking at those two college basketball games to circle at halftime, but I think I'm gonna fire the Sixers in the NBA, and I'm gonna fire the Suns in the NBA for now. For now.
Okay. Couple things. We have not talked about the hockey. I must say I'm not as locked in on this event that everyone's been talking about and the handle, and I'm excited to watch tonight, but I've heard various opinions. It's to be fair, it really is hard to handicap this type of emotion and these types of things. Sometimes you always want to lean into whatever something is. Sports radio guys will complain about stuff and try to fix. Like I don't care. Like I just want to lean into what things are. Um, the voice of the Penguins, I believe, passed away last night. Crosby's been talking about a heavy heart. I mean, there's just a lot of variables and narratives and storylines that we typically don't have to incorporate into our handicapping. So I'm a little gun shy here. Um, but I definitely wanted to at least address it and explain it. And like it's okay to watch a game and not have action on it too.
Yeah. Yeah, I fully plan on watching tonight. I haven't kept up with it at all, to be honest. I see a lot of the social media content, but I've just been really busy personally with the kids and all that. So I haven't been watching any of the hockey games. So correct me if I'm wrong. Tonight is the final. Is the USA Canada final tonight?
I know USA Canada. I don't know what it is. So it's similar to the Bean Pot, right? Like four instead of four teams in Boston. It's four countries just playing almost like group play. I don't know if there's a bracket and what that is. Again, the amount of effort and focus and all that it takes, I'd rather just be handicapping college every night and firing on game. It's just you have to allocate your resources effectively, and that's what I've been doing the last handful of days instead of just like a couple, all that work and background for a couple potential plays. So it's about just being efficient with the resources of
Yeah.
someone's mental stamina.
And I apologize to those who follow me just because of UFC. I mean, I usually have one or two angles in UFC. I haven't researched this weekend's card yet. I'll probably start doing that tonight and hopefully get some stuff out for you guys in the morning.
Likewise, but like I said, I'm happy with where things are going. I don't want to rock the boat because college hoops has gone so well, and
Yeah.
last night I had a max play on the second half under for the Laker game.
Yeah.
So and look, I have a team. I know you have as well. You just got to pick your spots and hold your powder sometimes, and not force things when there's not a good read. Like this Suns team, I'm waffling and probably going to get there, but it's important to play devil's advocate whenever you love a play. I always, I told myself this a while ago. No matter how much you love a game, there is someone who knows what they're doing, relatively or whatever, who loves the other side just as much.
Oh yeah.
So you just got to work backwards, backsaw. Like, what are they seeing that I'm not? So I guess in the Spurs case, it'd be like, oh, Chris Paul, let's win one for Wemby. Circle the wagons. Suns just being an unreliable team. Did they really train the right way? Booker's on the Aspen ski slopes with his rekindled love, with his new girlfriend or his old girlfriend reconnecting. I mean, who
See,
knows,
I didn't
right?
even know that. I usually get that type of news from my wife. I didn't get it this
Yeah,
time.
you got to keep in mind, stay plugged in the whole Kardashian family tree. So I mean, there's just like the Suns are a disappointment all year. So going to war with a team is a
Yeah,
little
it's
concerning.
scary.
Yeah,
A
it's
really
scary.
strong angle in that game, Doug, and I know we're about to close out, but for those who haven't followed Harrison Barnes's career, so when he left the Warriors because they were all in on Durant, he's played Kevin Durant really, really hard. And whether he has the capabilities now at 32, right, to do something about it, that's another story. But he's gonna get his shots up really up early and often. This happened in Dallas. This happened in Sacramento when he was there, and they played earlier this year, and he had a good first quarter. So that's another angle if you're looking at Harrison Barnes potentially tonight.
So this year against Phoenix, one game, he only played 24 minutes, so that should go up. But come on, where are the points?
What are the shot attempts? I think that's the
He's
most
one of
important.
8.
Yeah. Yeah, see? He's
Yeah,
he's gonna sling it against him no matter what. Whether he makes it, that's another story,
right.
right? Yeah.
I see some guys betting Vassell overs and Castle overs.
Who do you think is gonna be starting at center for the Spurs?
Ooh, good question.
Because the Suns have size now, right? After that trade they made,
I
and
think
they
Plumlee, right?
no, they have
Oh, Nick Richards, that's right.
yeah, Richards, yeah.
So does Sochan start at center?
If he does, they're gonna have rebounding issues.
I mean,
Because
last year
Harrison
wasn't
Barnes will be the
Sochan
four.
starting as their point guard? I mean, what a
It's so
weird
funny.
situation.
Uh,
That could
yeah,
be the play, Nick Richards rebounds, because that is a guy who's reliable and plays hard.
I like the Suns more with him, without a doubt. When it was
Yeah.
Nurkic Plumlee, I didn't like that because it just didn't fit right. Richards Plumlee fits a lot more because he plays his role, and I think the
It's like
guys
a
just like
combo
him.
of the two. Yeah.
Yeah, they like Richards a lot more than Nurkic, right? And that makes a difference when you're playing basketball. But no, Doug, any final thoughts before we close this out?
Yeah, we might have stumbled onto something with Nick Richards here. He
There you
does
go.
crash the boards. Not afraid to crash the boards. No, that's it. I mean, I think we're in a good place. I think I encourage everyone to check out the links. Been really happy. Obviously, DubClub's been tweeting out my records and stuff like that, which is always fun when you're riding high. But we take this stuff seriously. We're going to keep grinding, and I work at home and just hit the cave and the lab.
I'll see you in 2 weeks, by the way. Don't forget. First week of
Great,
March.
that's
I'll
awesome.
see you. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you
Get out
so
of
much
that
for
cold
jumping
weather.
on and joining us. Hope you guys had fun. We do this every Thursday. We'll see you again next week.
Thank you, guys.